Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. On Saturday, October 10th at Stamford Bridge at 10:30 a.m. my time and 4:30 p.m. UK time, Chelsea take on Arsenal in the 11th match of the Premier League season. In Chelsea's last 5 matches in the Premier League, we have a win, a draw, a loss, a win, and a draw. We're 5th in the Premier League. We started the match week in 4th, but then after some results didn't go our way, we moved down to 5th, but we can move up to potentially 3rd if we get a win, but I'll talk about that later. We're on 18 points with 20 goals scored and 12 goals conceded. In Arsenal's last 5 Premier League matches, they have a win, a loss, a draw, and a loss. They're 6th in the Premier League on 18 points, on 17 goals scored and 11 goals conceded. The first thing I'll start talking about is I think there's a huge chance to beat Arsenal. It's been a while since we beat them. I think the last time we beat them was away at the Emirates in 21-22 when Lukaku and James scored the 2 goals and we beat them. I think that was the last time we beat them. And they're weak right now. They're out of form. And they're slipping away from the Premier League title race. And they have injuries. They have Odegaard, who is still injured. They have Rice and Havertz. They're questionable. Rice has a broken toe. And Havertz got a pretty nasty head injury midweek against Inter Milan. But they're not really firing on all cylinders right now. And I think this is a game where if we show up and we play the way we know we can play, we can really give them a game and potentially win this game, which would be massive. I think this is our biggest game of the season so far. I've said that before, but this is really going to be like okay, this is who we're going to be this season. We lose to Liverpool, we lose to Man City, we draw against Man United. The Man United game, we really didn't show up, but if we go and beat Arsenal here, I think that definitely locks us in for top 4 candidates and, I mean, possibly a title contender. I don't think we'll win it, but we could push for it. I think it's massive. We need to go and win this game. Arsenal also lost midweek to Inter Milan. They did not play very well. And Mikel Arteta came out after the game and said that if they play that way against us, they'll win. Which I do not like Mikel Arteta at all. I don't like Arsenal. I hate Arsenal. I hate their time wasting, their tactic. I mean, they're just like thriving off of corners and acting like they're the best team in the world. I hate Arsenal. So I would just love to be able to just go and beat them, especially when you have Mikel Arteta, their coach, like talking bad about us. And I understand it's a rival game, but managers have to have some sort of respect, right? And he just doesn't. I would absolutely love to go and just honestly knock Arsenal out of the title race, to be honest. I think if they lose this game, they're out of the title race for sure. I just think they've dropped too many points to really be considered title contenders, let alone win the Premier League title. And if we beat them, that would be wraps for them, and that would be awesome. But like I said a bit earlier, against Man United and against Newcastle in the Cup, we just didn't really show up. This cannot be a game where we just don't show up. We have to go. We have to play our best attacking ball. We have to be defensively solid. Our passing needs to be on point. I am worried about Robert Sanchez, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But we have to show up 100% ready to go this game. Man United, we really didn't show up. We never really looked like that much of an attacking threat. And we just can't have that happening, especially against Arsenal, because like I said, this is probably the biggest game of our season, and we just can't not show up. I mean, these guys have to be ready. Maresca came out in the press conference saying that, quote, they were ready to go to war in this game, so that needs to be shown. These guys need to be ready to absolutely just die for the win. We have to show up in this game. I'll start talking about my preferred lineup because predicted and preferred are different. I'll start in goal, Robert Sanchez, which I'm not happy about, but I don't think Jorgensen is ready to be the first place keeper, especially to throw him in a game like this. The fullbacks, I'm going for James and Cucurella as a right back and left back, Fofana and Caldwell as a center back pairing. I've gone for Caicedo and Enzo in the midfield, which I'll explain in a minute. And then I've gone for Sancho on the right wing and Neto on the left wing, which I'll also explain in a minute. Palmer in the 10 and Jackson up top. Now, Palmer might be injured and unavailable for this game after that tackle from Martinez against Man United. If he can't play, I think Nkunku should start in the 10. It's up for debate between him and Joao. And I think Nkunku is the better option. I think Nkunku thrives as like a second striker or as a number 10. I think that's his best position. And unfortunately for Joao, I think Nkunku would have the option, because if Joao started, I wouldn't be upset about it. But if Palmer's injured and Nkunku's still not getting into the team, he's going to have some issues, and he's probably going to end up leaving Chelsea in the summer. But if Palmer can't play, I think it should be Nkunku in the 10. Now, the midfield, Caicedo and Enzo. So I think we play better and score more goals when Enzo is moving up into the left half spaces with Palmer in the right half spaces, and Cucurella is inverting in the midfield. I've said this 100 times before. I thought Lavia's been incredible recently, but when Enzo moves into those half spaces, it just benefits Palmer more getting into those right half spaces. When Gusto is inverting and going forward and getting into those right half spaces, and then you have to move Palmer to the left half spaces, it doesn't fit either of them. Palmer doesn't play as well in the left-sided half spaces, and Gusto just cannot invert. He's just not good at it. It doesn't play him to his strengths. But if we have Enzo pushing forward and Cucurella inverting to sit next to Caicedo in the double pivot, I think that's the best way we play, honestly. And I think that's the way we need to play, especially in this game. We need to be able to get goals, and we just score more goals and are more of an attacking threat when Enzo is pushing up onto the left half spaces and Palmer is moving into the right half spaces. So I think that needs to happen. And then I've gone for Sancho on the right wing and Neto on the left wing. Honestly, Madueke will probably start because Enzo Maresca seems to trust him, but I don't think Madueke should start. I think he just hasn't been very good since that hat trick against the Wolves. He hasn't been bad. He just hasn't really shown up in some games. His decision making has killed him. I think he needs to be benched to show that he's not invincible. Like, he can be dropped. And I've said this before, I think Sancho is a really, really good player and a very good attacking threat. And I want to see Sancho playing week in, week out. Now, normally I would want Sancho left wing and Pedro Neto right wing, because obviously that's their preferred positions and that plays them to their strong suits. But I've gone for Sancho on the right wing because he can play right wing. He played there a lot on his last loan to Dortmund, and he played there in the Champions League final. And I've gone for Neto on the left wing, not only because he's decent at left wing, but to be dropping back to helping defend against Saka when Saka's on that right side, because Sancho is not as good dropping back and defending as Pedro Neto is, and Cucurella needs help defending Saka. Like, that's going to be Arsenal's biggest threat. When Cucurella is inverting into the midfield, he has good recovery pace, he can get back, but there needs to be that extra line of cover, and I think Neto is better at dropping back and defending. So that's my lineup. As for a score prediction, I think we'll get 2-2. I don't know if we can win this game. I think we can definitely score. If we were to win this game, I think it would be more like a 2-1, and I would absolutely love to win this game, but I think we'll probably draw 2-2. I think our biggest weakness is Robert Sanchez. I mean, last time in this game, last season, Arsenal at home, we were 2-0 up, and Robert Sanchez single-handedly cost us the win, and we drew 2-2. He passed the ball straight to Declan Rice, who scored from that, and then he should have saved Trossard's chance. Robert Sanchez hasn't gotten any better. He's still making these stupid mistakes all the time, and I think that's our biggest weakness and one of the reasons why we can't win this game, to be completely honest. But I'm excited for this game. I'm excited to see how the team performs. Like I said, it needs to be a game where we show up and give it 100% and just absolutely we have to give them a game. We have to. We can't just let them come in and walk away with this. We have to go there to win it. And I think we can. And this would be a massive, massive win, not only just for beating Arsenal, but for the rest of the season. So those are my thoughts. I'll have a match review out after the match. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.